What is going on, everyone? It is Garrett and welcome to a new tutorial. Now this is going to be my first tutorial back on my channel. Really fun tutorial. This is going to be very easy to do and we're going to do two versions of this. So now this is going to be our Fortnite themed logo. It's very easy to do. We're going to head off to Photoshop to do this first. Now this can be done in Illustrator. I just think since we're using Photoshop, it's going to be a lot more fun to do. It's a lot easier and we can mess with the colors a lot more, add brush strokes, stuff like that. So in this tutorial, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need one Google to use references and stuff like that, and the font called Burbank. Now if you want the font, it's going to be in the description below. I have a link to it. It's called Burbank Big Condensed Bold. Now this is the font that Fortnite likes to use in a lot of their branding, whether it's the logo, the symbol, or the Battle Royale text. A lot of it is going to be this Burbank Big Condensed Bold font. So I don't want to waste any time. I want to get into this tutorial as soon as possible. If you guys want to watch for when we do this with our personal logos, there's going to be a time above me right now. You guys can head to that time. It's going to be on using your personal logo to create a style just like this. If you guys want to watch the entire thing, whether we're using text to create this or the logo, just keep watching. We're going to get to both of them. So the first thing we want to do is go to Photoshop, go to File, New. For width, we're going to go to 1920, and height, we're going to go to 1080. Hit Control I on your keyboard and make that background black. And then what I want you guys to do is head over to Google and type in Fortnite 1920 x 1080 gameplay. Now the reason behind we're typing this in is because we want to get a gameplay image that's high quality and that is 1920 by 1080. You can see that by when you click on the image, it's going to say the size dimensions, and then it's going to say, it might be subject to copyright or something. Right click, copy that image, paste it in, go to this little half circle down here for your adjustments, go to black and white, click it again, click on exposure, and you're going to bring your exposure down to about -2, 0.3-ish, -2.5. Between -2 and -3 is definitely where you want to stay. And then take your gamma correction probably to like 0.64, maybe 0.6 if you guys want. But definitely keep this so it's kind of this dark background. And now that we have that, this is going to be basically our working grounds of what we're going to make everything on. What I want you guys else to do is right here on that layer 1, that background layer, hit Control T on it, and then just drag your rulers so it creates kind of a like a T, like a perfect size between everything, and then hit enter. If you guys can't drag these rulers in and they're not showing up, hit Control R on your keyboard and these are going to come up. And then if they're not showing when you drag them in, then hit Control H or Command semicolon and they'll pop up. So before we start anything, there's a few things I want to say. Now this is going to be pretty fast and I'm going to go as fast as possible, so just be ready. I'm not going to try to slow down as in cater to everyone. I think that this is a pretty easy tutorial, so I want to go as fast as I can since there is 2 parts to this. Also, if you guys can turn my notifications on my channel, if you guys go to my channel where the subscribe button is, there's a little bell icon. Click that to be notified when I upload my my new series on every Fridays, my Monday videos, and then my tutorials on Wednesdays, so you guys can be notified for everything that I upload. So with that being said, if you guys go and do that, big ups to you. You guys can basically screenshot that, send me it on Twitter. I'll give you guys a follow. And it just helps me out, helps you guys get notified because YouTube's really slacking on what they're doing. So with that being said, let's get straight into this tutorial as fast as possible. So once you install this font called Burbank, you're going to go into Photoshop, click your little text tool, put the size to like 50 at first, and then type in your name or type in your alias or whatever you want that text to say. And make sure it's above all your exposure, black and whites, your layers, and your background. So now that you have that, hit Control T on it and click the top right icon, the little square up here, and then hold Shift on your keyboard and just drag it so it's pretty large, and then put it in the middle of your screen. You know it's going to be in the middle of your screen when this little kind of circle icon in the middle is going to basically snap straight into the middle of everything. So now we have that. What else I want you guys to do is click this exposure layer right here on the right side of your layers. Hold Shift, click that background layer, and hit Control G. If it's not going, you need to double click that background layer to unlock. And just group these, enable it, just like don't touch or something. Just so you know not to go mess around with this. So now that we have this text logo, what we're going to do starting off is going right into the kind of outer stroke of it. So you're going to go right here to text, right click, go to blending options, and then add a stroke. So for the stroke, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it between about 15 and 20. I put mine to 16, I thought it looked the best. But what you don't want is something super small, so it kind of looks like that. And you don't want something super big that looks like a big blob. So you definitely need it to kind of outline your text, but like I said, you don't want it to be super crazy. If you have that kind of text that you want kind of the edges to be touching on everything, I would highly recommend going higher. If you don't mind, you don't want it, you don't care, I would definitely just keep it around like 16 or something like that. Hit enter, click on the don't touch folder, and then create a new layer, which is right next to the trash can in the bottom. And we're basically gonna take this polygon lasso tool and we're gonna outline all of this. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick to making hard cut edges. And you can see when we use that inner stroke tool on the blending options, it rounds out the edges. So what we're gonna do is try to avoid that by just basically outlining everything. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you guys see the Fortnite logo, it does have great lines and stuff like that, but it's not like super perfect. It's not like spot on, everything's like pixel by pixel. So you can definitely just take this a little fast, make it a little rough, and it adds character when it's not like super clean and it's like a little bit sloppy. And you can see that it's pretty easy to do. It's just a little time consuming. And make sure for whatever you're doing, like right there, I'm gonna just I'm gonna fill this in with let's go with a red. See, I'm gonna fill this in and then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna kind of delete part of this. So you can see that I'm taking my time, but I'm also making sure that whatever I do make lines up the way I want it to. Just like this. And then I fill it in. And then right here next to the stroke, there's a little eye icon. Click that. It's gonna go away. And then you're gonna be left with this. See, that was probably the hardest part in this whole entire thing. So what we're gonna wanna do now is head over to google.com and type in Fortnite logo in the search URL. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this little purple icon as a reference, and we're gonna paste it in, and we're just gonna put it to the left-hand side. So what we're gonna do is right-click on our layer 2, which is that background layer with the red color. Go to color overlay, click right here on your little color box next to the blend mode, and just click this purple. And if you want it to be a little bit more saturated and brighter, you can definitely drag that the little color tool up a little bit more. So now that we have that, this is basically, like I said, the hardest part is over and done with. What we want to do now is start creating this this kind of like border banner flag thing around it. And little key things you want to look for, especially when we're using things as references, is you can see inside this logo. If I'm going to zoom in, make a new layer, I'll grab a little quick brush so I can tell you guys. When you're taking things for references, make sure you take into key notes that things like right here, that they don't line up correctly, right here isn't even. Like if I was to put this in the middle, this is probably like the middle, give or take, and then right here is probably where these two crease. So you definitely want to look into everything that you're using for a reference, just because sometimes it might not be even, and sometimes you might have to copy it a certain way to match it. But going into our tutorial, this is going to be all even. It's going to be pretty easy to do. So what we're going to do on the left-hand side first is we're going to grab a rectangle, and we're just going to make a rectangle box basically as much as you want width-wise, because this is going to be our first kind of flag out. And we're just going to put this right here so you guys can see that, and then just hide it, delete it, whatever you guys want to do. Make a new layer. Grab that polygon tool again, and then wherever you want to start inside this text, just click, hold shift, and drag out to this far ruler line. Click, and then drag inwards as far as you want. I'm going to go about halfway between these, and then we're going to go all the way down back to here, right? And I'm going to hold shift, and I'm just going to bring it in. Right click, I'm going to fill this with the same color. So you're going to click color, and this screen's going to pop up your color picker. Click that purple, click OK, click OK. And you're basically good so far. What you want to do next is grab this rectangular marquee tool, and you're basically going to delete everything up until the edge of this lettering. And you're going to hit Control H or Command semicolon, and things are going to go away. Control J to duplicate, sorry. And then you're going to flip horizontally so you have the same piece. And we're just going to hold Shift and drag it over. Just like this. So what we're going to do is take these two layers, we're going to put them below it. And these should be touching, but what we're going to do instead is we're going to basically redo them. So make a new layer again, and now just take right here in this top and just basically drag all the way across. And we're basically going to fill in this empty gap of space between these two. And just basically fill them in, put that color picker on, and you basically have this kind of little Fortnite themed. Now, it doesn't look as good with big text as it does with logos, which is why I'm going to be doing both. You can see right here, with the symbol logo, it looks pretty decent, but when you use really big text, it gets a little bit more weird. But that's not going to stop us. We're still going to keep going. The kind of few last things we're going to want to do, which is a lot of little like last touches to kind of make it more 3D, make it more pop. We're going to highlight everything in our layer tab that's purple, and we're going to hit Control E, which is going to merge them. Then we're going to hit Control J to duplicate. So you're going to see there's two layers right here. Grab the bottom one, go to blending options, color overlay, and you're going to take this and you're going to move it to your bottom right just a little bit so it's dark. Alright, and then you're going to zoom out, hit Control T, and then you're going to click these keys, Alt, Shift, and you're going to left click on your mouse or your trackpad, and you're basically going to make this smaller by a little bit inside and then drag it straight down. And you're basically going to make it any size that you want and then hit enter. And now watch this. So we're going to make a new layer, we're going to zoom in, and we're basically going to act like little children, and we're going to basically connect the dots. So these corners are going to connect. We're going to go to right click, fill, color, grab that color right there, hit OK, hit OK. Go over here. This corner matches to this corner. Do the same thing, and you're basically going to do this same thing for every corner. So you're saying like this corner goes to that corner. And the reason why we're doing this is because it's going to really increase the 3D effect. So like this one, go to that one. This one will go to this one, and we go back over. This to that. And basically do this fast, and what we're going to do is we're going to zoom back out once we're over it, and then we're going to just basically go over it one more time. Just to make sure that we did it all correct, because you always want to take a second glance at the things you're designing. You never want to just do it once and then basically say I'm done, it looks good, whatever. So basically go into this, look at it. If something doesn't look right to you, then fix it. Like if I zoom out, I know that these match, those match, these match, that matches, these match. So everything matches inside of my design. So I'm basically good. Now I can merge these bottom two layers since these are the darkest purples inside of my image. And now this is going to be where the fun comes. We're going to hit a new layer, we're going to hold Alt, and we're going to put it as a clipping mask on top of that layer 4 or that really dark purple. We're going to hit I on our keyboard, we're going to grab this purple, and we're going to make it even darker this time. And then we can grab our brush on like a size like maybe 70 with the hardness of 0. And you're basically going to kind of click around inside of this. And it's not perfect artistic skills of making shadows and stuff like that. Like if I really wanted to take shadows, I'd make each individual shape a different shadow. But this is just a tutorial, this is just fast and quick and easy. And then basically zoom out, and you have that kind of 3D effect here. What's next is we're going to do the same exact thing, but this time we're going to do it with only our text. So we're going to duplicate our text, and we're going to do the same thing. Hit Control T, we're going to hold Alt, Shift, and we're going to basically make this smaller, and we're going to bring this down. And then you're going to go to right click, blending options, color overlay, and you're going to make this just a darker kind of grayish silver. But this time you can make it either really small, really big, it doesn't really matter. But what you don't want is for things to kind of get super out of line. So like before you do this, you might want to actually rasterize this layer, this text layer. So you can go right click rasterize type, then duplicate it and do it that way, just because you're going to get a more even line set. And just go back to blending options, color overlay, a nice gray. And it's basically the same thing. Just make a new layer, zoom in, and it's all about just connecting these little dots, connecting these little lines. Make sure you go to color, you grab that gray color, and just really connect these dots. Like I said, you want to take your time with this. For this kind of stuff you do, for more so doing like the outlining, you can be a little bit more sloppy, but when you're doing like the 3D effects like this, you definitely want to take your time, because it's what people notice the most inside your design. Just like that. And so just really quickly, I'm going to do this since I've done it a few times, and I want to talk to you guys. So basically what's going on with my channel is I'm trying to make it more of a job, more of a lifestyle. Like, I did enjoy making these header tutorials and stuff like that, but like I said to people when they ask me like how do I get certain clients, like the way you brand yourself is definitely the way clients see you. So if I'm making all these Twitter header tutorials and stuff like that, I think that my clients were mostly all these I hate to say, like all these immature like gamers and all these immature people. So I didn't really think it was the best move for me. So I decided that I was going to put my channel a little bit more professionally, especially since I'm going to go to college. It's going to help you guys tremendously with making good designs. I'm learning a lot more about art, creating cool projects like this instead of just basically sitting there and copying Twitter headers over and over again. Like, you can take this kind of design, you can really use it basically anywhere. So that's why I want to kind of make my channel into a more professional and more overall design brand. So that's why I'm uploading these kind of videos instead of those headers. So now that we have this done, it's basically the same thing. We're going to merge the two grays, new layer, duplicate, make that to a clipping mask, grab a brush, grab the gray, but this time we're going to make it a little bit darker. Like I said, we're going to just basically click around. And it doesn't have to be like super perfect. You can see that just kind of tapping my mouse everywhere makes a little bit cool of an effect. And then we're going to grab actually a brighter gray, and we're just going to do like a couple clicks here and there. Alright, so the final touches we're going to do on this is we're actually going to merge, we're going to grab the purple, the light purple, kind of the shadowing layers. We're going to go to inner glow. We're going to go to blend mode to soft light. We're going to go size to about a 1, and then opacity down to like 60 to 80%. Let that click. Then on the top, you're going to go new layer, grab a brush, grab your eye. So click eye on your keyboard, grab your eye watch tool, click that purple, go back to your brush, and then make like a brush size about 250 to 280. And you're going to click about 3 times on your logo wherever you want. Go to blend mode and put this to soft light, linear dodge add, or screen. Screen usually looks the best, honestly. And then you can lower your opacity a little bit. If you want, you can add even a really dark purple shadow behind all of this, which is totally up to you. Just like that. And this is going to be your kind of Fortnite themed text, right? So cool. That's the Fortnite themed text. For people that just came into the video and want to see the personal logo version like this, we're getting right into it. We just created this. If you guys want to go back, more than welcome. We're about 19 minutes into this video recording so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little reference. I'm going to throw it up in the air. I'm going to merge all this. I'm going to label it text tutorial. And then I'm going to drag it to the top right hand corner, hide it, and lock it. Okay, welcome to the logo version of this. So what you really need is your personal logo, and we're going to do this at super speed. Drag your personal logo straight into the document, and you're going to shrink it until you can place it into the middle. So we already did the rulers ahead of time, so they're ready here for us. We're just gonna basically put this in the middle. We're gonna shrink it up. If there's these extra ruler lines that we can just drag to the side, but that we don't need them. And we're gonna put our color of this to white. So we can either do it that way, we can go to blending mode, and color overlay, throw this to the brightest white we can. Go to stroke, and we're gonna put a stroke about, this time, about 18 to 20 around it. So I'm gonna put mine to 18, and then I'm gonna grab my color, and I'm gonna grab that purple kind of feel that we're grabbing from the previous video, or the previous text tutorial, and it's gonna grab the same purple. And like I said, this is a lot easier and a lot faster to do. So instead of us basically doing everything the way we did it before, what we're gonna do is make a new layer under the logo. We're gonna click somewhere in the top section of this. We're gonna drag it out holding shift. We're gonna go inward, we're gonna go down like inwards. Then we're gonna go out. And then we're gonna hold shift again and go in. And then you're gonna make this color purple. Hit Control J, duplicate it, flip horizontally so it clicks in the middle again. And then you got this. So it's basically now the same thing. So the way we're gonna do this instead is we're gonna duplicate our logo. We're gonna hide the stroke. And then for the bottom layer, we're gonna hide the color overlay and we're gonna get rid of that fill. We're gonna make a new layer again. We're gonna merge these two, hitting Control E, and then we're gonna merge all the dark purples using E. And so now we have this, and all we have to do is fill it in. Just like that. And if you guys are getting very uncaught up and you guys are like losing your mind when I'm saying all this kind of stuff, go back into watching the text because I explain everything a lot more thoroughly. This is a lot easier to do, so I expect people to do both since it's a little bit more of a practice run. And we're gonna do the same thing we did. We're gonna just basically hit Control J, duplicate this, grab the bottom layer, right click blending options, grab this purple, make it a darker purple, hit Control T, so you grab the transform tools, Alt Shift, drag it so it's smaller, and then bring it downwards. And like I said before, it's just connecting these edges. All you want to do is grab that polygon lasso tool, connect those edges that are making it more 3D, hit contents, color, fill it in with that dark purple color, go to the other side and do the same thing. Now that you have that done, I want you guys to make another new layer above this, above the color overlay. And you're actually gonna merge these two, and then make another new layer and add it so it's a clipping mask, holding Alt and clicking on that bottom layer. Hit B on your keyboard, grab a small size, about 100. Grab that purple using your eye tool, and making a darker purple. And then just basically clicking around. So now that's done, it's doing the same thing to our logo. So everyone grab their logo, right click on their color overlay, then bring this to kind of a darker gray. You don't want it to be super dark but not super bright. Hit Control T on your keyboard and you're doing the same thing, just basically repeatedly over and over again. But this time, since my logo is a bit little freaky, it has a lot of things going on, what I can actually do is just highlight everything and make this all one. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect for this kind of stuff. You guys can really just sloppily do it, but make sure when you're doing your 3D stuff, it looks as best as you can. Make a new layer, put it on top of that gray, grab the same color, make it darker, and just click around inside. Alright, and I'm actually gonna take my E to my erase tool, erase some of this. Alright, so now that that's done, it's basically the same thing. What we're gonna do is grab the purple badge around, right click blending options, and put an inner glow, about an 80% on soft light, stroke size 1. And then you guys can actually make a new layer above everything. Grab your brush tool, grab that nice little purple that we've been working with, and then click 3 times somewhere. So once there, once there, and then put it to screen. And then you guys got your personal logo Fortnite style themed logo thing, if you guys know what I mean. So now that it's done, basically group it all and you have everything inside. Of course, you don't want to include the reference, you just want to include only your logo. If you guys did not catch any of that stuff I did for the personal logo, make sure to go back in the tutorial and watch the text version of this. It's a lot easier to handle when you're working with big text like this, and it's a lot more fun, especially when you're doing logos with it. So this is it. This is the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want the download link to this, I will leave it in the description below. All you would have to do is replace the text and then mess with the sizes a little bit. You guys can use the same amount of colors I use and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube and leave my notifications on. I hope to see you guys in my next tutorial, and I hope to see you guys on my later on videos. And just thank you guys so much for the warm welcome back and all the love on my videos lately. So with that being said, see you guys in my next video. Peace out.